Hey, good morning. This is Denise with Lazy K Homestead. Today we're going to do a video on pruning grapevines. It is mid-February here in central Tennessee on the Cumberland Plateau, and this is a great time to go ahead and prune your grapevines. And I'm going to also cut the suckers off my apple trees. They're in the background over there. So the sap isn't up yet, so this is a really good time to do that. You want to make sure that the sap isn't up, because when it does come up and you're pruning, it will ruin the end where you pruned, and that part will rot. So you want to make sure, and also a hard frost would really damage once you've pruned if the sap is up. So anyway, the way that I do this, I learned from my dad, and he had grapevines, and I've done this every year that we've had grapes. These are just two Concord grapes here. This one is about 4 years old, and the other one back here is about 6 years old. And we always have a really great grape harvest. So what you do is you count back 5 buds. These little ends here where the leaves will come out are the buds. So, and if you go back and it's not enough for 5, you go ahead and cut at the very last one. So this one is 1, 2, 3, 4. So what I'll do is go ahead and cut back at the 4th one. And you just continue on. So this has 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. And you might think, well, I'm cutting off a lot off. Well, grapes grow on the old wood, so you're cutting off last year's wood. That was the new growth. And it'll stimulate the grape itself to have more leaves and more fruit. So this is 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. So you go back here and you cut it. So that's what we're doing. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. And the grapes will really thank you for this. 4 and 5. And you continue to do this throughout your whole grape, all the canes. Now, I've seen a lot of people where they'll cut back all the way, and I don't do that. I just do it this way, and I've never had any problem with fruiting or leaves. I also noticed that I have a honeysuckle that has come up, and I'm going to have to get that down because that will choke out my grapes. So I'm going to go ahead and get rid of that. And we don't want that one, even though I do love honeysuckle. Well, I'm going to go ahead and pause for a minute and go over to my apple trees. Okay, I'm back with the apple trees now. And like I said, it's mid-February here in Tennessee. And you want to go ahead and prune the suckers off. I'm not going to take any of the large branches off because last year we went in there and opened up our canopy so everything can get air. That's the main thing with your fruit trees. You want them to have plenty of air to be able to have plenty of fruit and ventilation. So I'm going to go ahead and go through here and just show you what the suckers are. So this right here, see how it's touching? See if you can see that. Yeah, you can see how it's touching and it's kind of going up into the middle. You want to go ahead and cut that one off. So I'm going to go ahead and use my loppers. Let me get over here. And you just cut it off right there. Because that's called a sucker. And really all it's doing is sucking the energy out of your apple tree. And here's another one. Over here, go ahead and you see how it's not doing anything? These little spikes that come out, those are called fruit nubs. Every one of them, they are not suckers, so don't cut them off, because that's where your leaves and your apple blossoms will come out and your fruit will. So this is another one, and we'll go up. There's another one. Well, that one didn't cut very well, so let me get my pruners. Get that off. Okay. And here's one. Anything that is going towards the middle of your fruit tree and is inhibiting the airflow. So I've got quite a few suckers on here. You want your branches to go out like this and go up and have the ventilation like I had said in the beginning. So we'll just continue to prune. And you can stand back and look at your tree. With pruning suckers, it's really not how the canopy looks, because these look really good from last year when we took a lot of the main branches down. Okay. All right. And let's see, there's one right here I'm going to go ahead and take because it is inhibiting that ventilation. And this one right here. Okay. I hope you guys can see what I'm doing. All right. Well, I think that looks pretty good for this apple tree. I'll go ahead and turn you around over here. And we'll start on this apple tree. These are red delicious. And I've only had a little bit of fruiting on these trees. Let's see if I can adjust that a little bit better so you can see what I'm doing. Yeah. I've got Fuji and Golden Delicious over here that we'll go over there and check them out now. I just planted those last year, and we'll see what kind of suckers are on those. So here's a sucker. See how it was in the middle? And here's one here, down here. We'll go ahead and take that one off. Let's see if I can back the camera up a little bit so you guys can see a little bit more of what I'm doing. Yeah, there we go. All right. This is a sucker right here. So we'll go ahead and take that off. And let me just stand back and look and see what we've got. Okay, here's a sucker. See how this is crossing a branch right here? So I want to go ahead and take this one off. Well, actually what I'll do is I'll take both of these off because they're really not doing anything for this tree. Since you've got a really nice branch right here, that's a really good branch that's going out. So we'll go ahead and take this one off. And you do want to get as close to the tree as possible, to the trunk as possible. So what I'll do is I'll take my little pruning shears here, since my lopper couldn't get very close. And I'll go ahead and get that as close as you possibly can. If you don't want to invite any bugs or eggs. And another thing that I'm going to do is spray dormant oil on these trees. I had a little mealybug damage last year, so I'm going to go ahead and I've got some, as you can see, that just came right off. I'm going to go ahead and prune this down because of that mealybug damage. And the dormant oil will really help. I use the Ortho, and you just spray it on there, and it will help kill the eggs and a multitude of insects that like to winter in your fruit trees and then cause havoc when it's time for them to flower because they're already in there. So I'm going to go ahead and pause and go on over to the other trees. Okay, we're back, and this is my Fuji. And like I said, we just planted this last year, and it has done some growing. It is, I guess, it's probably 12 feet tall. So we've got a few suckers in here. Not many, because it really is growing out nicely. And that's what you want, to make sure your tree has plenty of ventilation so it can grow and leaf and not cause any of the mold and the different diseases that fruit trees can get, especially apple trees. So here is a sucker right here. As you can see, it's right here in the middle. I'll go ahead and use these pruning shears. Get it as close as I can. And that came off nicely. And there is another one. And with suckers, you can need to do this every year. You can tell because they are new. It doesn't look like the old wood. But anyways, guys, I hope this is a good video for you if you need to learn how to prune grapes or prune apple trees. And we'll be back with you with some other tutorials and help. And I hope you enjoyed the Lazy K Homestead. Please like, share, and subscribe. We'd really love to have your support. Y'all have a great day and God bless.